the sun is shining, the Frats are trying, and the football's flying here today at the Greek Flag Football Tournament. And with so much going on here today, I had no choice but to get in on the action.
I predict it's going to be a hard-fought competition.
And we went all the way.
Hard-fought.
It was a no-holds-barred matchup today on the gridiron as the Black Greek-led organization gathered for the annual Greek football tournament.
We've been doing this for, man, at least 5-6 years or so. It's been a really good event. We finally brought it to Philadelphia, so we're excited about it. We play with these guys growing up as kids and things of that nature, so it's always good when we become, part of fraternities and organizations to still, just have fun and enjoy the bond.
It's just a day of fellowship, It's just a good time out here. We normally have music and vendors and everything, but that didn't happen this year.
Everybody, with the police, Ferguson and everything, all the different people breaking up, it's amazing that actually black educated men could come together and actually host an event like this with no violence towards one another, It's all love here. For instance, some of my actual good friends are actually Kappas, and I'm an Iota, and it's all love.
You know what I'm saying? Brings the community together. A lot of people, we could be out in the streets right now robbing people, robbing banks, but we here playing football together as a family, regardless of what the organization is. I could have been out there selling drugs right now, but no, I'm here playing this game. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's all about. Unity and competition all in one. I'm lying about the robbing bank stuff and the drugs.
We practiced for like a month and a half. Let's trust what we did every day in practice, and bros just remember their responsibility and their accountability.
Going against the grain of recent headlines, where black men were the lightning rod of recent tragedies, we see today that these individuals are attempting to shed those labels.
It's beautiful to have all the Greeks come out and play like this. Like, a lot of people, they think it's a gang life. Like, this not a gang life. These are all college graduates. All professionals. You see these guys Monday through Friday, they're in suits. You understand what I'm saying? But today we out here looking like weekend warriors. So it's a good thing, man. I'm appreciative and I'm humbled to be a part of it.
Well, it brings together people who people think can't get along, right? I mean, the first thought when you hear about all fraternities is that it's essentially some type of gang war, but this shows you, we're all out here fraternizing together, even though we're in separate organizations, and I think that's a microcosm of black community. I mean, yeah, we have our issues, have our problems, but when it comes down to it, we all come together.
I definitely think events like this dispel the myth of the black communities, and I also think that young guys can learn a lot from this. Out here, it's a lot of deference. It's a lot of humbling to older bros. That's one of my older bros right there. It's a lot of, learning. Football is the ultimate team sport. And the reason why it's the ultimate team sport is because all 11 men got to do their job for it to be successful.
Here today at this tournament, you see everything but violence and confusion. For many of its participants, this showcases nothing but unity and competition.
Crib work! Yeah, Terry. You got it, Terry. Yeah,
we all everybody that's playing was once, Al Bundy. They did their thing at one point in life, and this is all we got to fall back on now. So it feels good running, catching, blocking, all that good stuff, man.
What is about this event that makes it special?
To me, it's like everybody talking trash. The other frats talking trash. Like, y'all Kappas can't play, man. It's like, all right, we're going to show y'all. Like, we don't got to talk about it. Let's just go out there and prove it, man. We all brothers. We strong when we come together, so we achieving. So it ain't nothing. It's nothing.
On defense, that's it. Right. That's it. And your defense, and on my side, you cover the D man, and I cover the middle.
If any zone you play is gonna have holes.
Right.
And despite the negative stereotypes that have been associated with African Americans, this event has done nothing but bring to attention what many have felt was missing in the black community.
Hello family, and welcome back to Str8 NoCh8Ser. This is Wit on the Street, and I am here at World Cafe Live for tonight's Story Slam, hosted by First Person Arts. And tonight's theme, broke. So let's share in their stories of broken hearts, broken bones, and maybe even broken dreams. I also had the chance to speak with Miss Jamie J, the Executive Director of First Person Arts, to discuss why this movement is important here in Philadelphia.
She's still, on working. She's like, I might stay for this. Okay, she's like, I'm gonna call him up and say that his music's just too good, and I broke my wrist because of it. I still need to contact Mr. Wonder and
slammed on the brakes, but this being an S-Mark quality bike, they didn't work very well. And so my body landed, twisted in the yoga pose commonly known as 8-year-old caught in bike frame with handlebar poking his kid.
If anyone's ever gone skating, I had one of those skates that have sort of those hooks in the front that I think are used for brakes. And when you're skating, especially when you're wearing skates like that, I imagine you're supposed to keep your back foot up a little higher. I didn't, and hooked the ice, flung myself forward onto my right leg as a twist, and just slammed my entire weight onto my right leg, and I just heard this snap!
But I didn't have any money. Like, I couldn't afford anything. And the most expensive thing I owned was my high school senior class ring. I couldn't afford to go to the jewelry store to buy her a necklace, so I took one of the complimentary University of Scranton lanyards and hooked the lanyard to the ring, and I was ready to give it to her later that night. We went to a dance.
Hello everyone, this is Red on the Street, and I'm here with Jamie J, the Executive Director of First Person Arts for the Story Slam here at World Live Cafe. So many things today. Tell me, why should people come on this story slam?
Because everybody has a story to tell, and when you come in and tell your story first person art, you share and you make friends and you bond together.
So what brings you out to First Person Arts?
Oh, storytelling is a wonderful way to form community, to be creative, to get to know people, and to test your boundaries.
So how many stories have you told this year?
This year? Oh, calendar year or fiscal year?
Calendar year.
Storytelling year.
3 or 4.
Okay, all right. So do you enjoy the rush? What provokes you to get up there and tell you?
Oh, I enjoy every bit of it except for writing, which is torture. But, you know, once you get a theme and you start writing and revising, and then really it's the performing though, when you say something that's true, and people respond, they laugh, or they cry, or they gasp, it's like... We do them at least twice a month, every month, at World Cafe Live and also at NoCh8Ser Cabaret. Now, with Nation, we need you to come out because we want to hear your voices on our stage. Your stories are important and we want to hear them.
What I mean, like I was very unkempt. My beard was very messy. Like homeless people wouldn't even ask me for money. They would just kind of like walk by and give me words of encouragement. They're like, hey man, keep your head up. Like how bad did I look? Holy shit. Like
the dirty bathroom, it looked like it had never been cleaned, and I was grateful to just be able to have this place. But you never have one of those like personal odors that was so bad that even you couldn't stand it. So I, with great desire, reached back to the handle to flush, and it jangled out a "I'm not working" kind of tune.
So then, you know what happens after the lyrics, right? His break. The trumpets come back. My God, that's one of the best music breaks ever.
Yeah.
Right? You know it, right?
Yeah.
Boom.
Good evening, family, and hello, and welcome to another episode of Str8 NoCh8Ser. I'm your host and blog tender, Marquise Lupton. The bar is now open, and today I'm serving up some realness. Family, I don't know about you, but things this summer have just been downright weird.
Taking action with a health alert for you. We first told you last night about 9 confirmed cases of leprosy or Hansen's disease here in Florida, and the health department thinks the cases could be linked to these guys here, armadillos.
But while considered rare in the United States, the number of leprosy cases in Florida is growing. According to the Department of Health, an average of 10 Floridians are diagnosed every year. But this year, already 9 patients have been identified, the latest in Flagler County 3 weeks ago.
President, right to use that word?
I don't think so. I will tell you that I was surprised, I was shocked, I was disappointed. I think language matters.
Touchy deal here.
Was it necessary?
We're talking about the President of the United States using the N-word bill. He has really dragged in the gutter speak of rap music. So now he's the first president of rap, of street. I mean,
as journalists,
that you, as an African-American man, is going to use that word just
of course,
so flippantly.
because
Words
we're
matter,
using
and
it.
you should know that.
I mean, what the heck, America? When do we become so sensitive to the N-word? Especially when it's a black dude using that word.
That's still part of our DNA. That's passed on. We're not cured of it.
Racism.
Racism. We are not cured of.
Clearly.
And it's not just a matter of it not being polite to say in public. That's not the measure of whether racism still exists or not.
Aren't we the country that created the word anyway?
Yep. Yep.
Now let me remind you how people came to this guy's rescue.
50 years ago, you had you upside down with a fucking fork up your ass. You can talk, you can talk, you can talk.
But when the president is making a good point of this derogatory word, people use it as an opportunity to attack him. But where were those people for this?
I kill you, I'll be part of the KKK. There'll be one less lonely nigga. There's gonna be one less lonely nigga.
Prime example of when keeping it real goes wrong. And talking about keeping it real.
I don't know what you're.
Are you African American?
I don't understand the question of. I did tell you that yes, that's my dad.
I mean, how many different ways can you ask that question? Maybe he should have asked her what she puts in her potato salad. If she says she makes it with relish, well then we would have known the truth months ago. Or maybe he should have asked her when this guy's office hours were.
Now, if you have any other problems with your royalties, my books, my office hours are from.
But all jokes aside, you have to give her credit. She did her homework on black hair. I don't know if she watched Chris Rock's movie Good Hair.
Has anybody ever tried to steal your hair?
No, not yet.
If you see some black women, just run the other way.
Okay.
But she has got black women hair down to a T. Maybe some of our black women should take a page out of Rachel's book. Kudos to Rachel for showing other women the key to being black is joining the NAACP and microbes. I'm Marquise Lupton, and this is Str8 NoCh8Ser. Hello and welcome back to Str8 NoCh8Ser. I'm sitting here with On the Street and Pam Ford. Today we are discussing the quintessential black woman. So, Pam, how important is it to have your hair done as a black woman? Is that a extension of yourself?
I think your hair represents a lot about you. It says a lot about what you're used to, how much time you actually have to it, and it actually represents you. So I think it's very important. What do you think, Whit? I would agree. I think your hair is like your crown. And so when your crown is disheveled, then you may be disheveled. I also think that it shows, where you are in life if you're going through stress or if you're upbeat, because a lot of times, a black woman's hair may not be the first thing or the most important thing to her. So that can be something that can be easily taken away, or something that won't be given as much importance as, your wardrobe or your shoes or something like that.
All right, so what about this stigma of bad hair? Because growing up, I always would hear, well, you have good hair. Well, you have bad hair. How can we start to break that stigma of good hair and bad hair, or are we at a point where it can't be erased?
I don't believe there's no such thing as good hair or bad hair. I believe that regardless of the texture of your hair, whether it's overly curly or whether it's pinned straight,
the fact of the matter is you need to care for your hair. So it's no such thing as good hair or bad hair, because somebody can have a thick head of hair and decide to get extensions, but that particular head of hair is better for doing like extensions and things like that. Because the hair is so thick, it's a lot easier for the hair to be held with like a sew-in or braids and different things like that. So somebody who has what people pretty much say is like the perfect hair or good hair, that hair isn't good for doing extensions. It doesn't necessarily make it bad. It just means particular styles, it doesn't really go well with that particular texture.
Okay, and Rachel Dolezal, lit. How do you feel after seeing picture upon picture of her different hairstyles and how she thought a black woman should be represented?
Concerning that, I thought she did a good job. I was like, well, you know what? I need her number so she can hook me up. She had likes, she had micros, she had straight hair, she had curly hair. She had all different types of hair textures going on. But overall, I think she did a very well job at maintaining her hair. You know, it didn't fall out, it didn't break off. It looked like healthy hair, which is, you know, the goal for any woman of any race.
Okay, and Pam, as a black woman, how did you feel personally about that whole story and about that whole fallout of Rachel? Did you feel disrespected, or what were your feelings upon hearing that somebody actually faked being black?
I loved it. It was like right on point for me. I feel as though she saw something that was great and amazing, and she wanted to mimic that. So as much as people say when we straighten our hair and stuff, we're trying to be European, I like the fact that somebody saw the wealth in being a black woman and wanted to mimic that. So I was all for it.
What?
I would agree. I think it's because we come from a rich history, and you know, we come from a lineage of kings and queens, and I feel like she wanted to be included in that and feel like she was a queen. So to her, taking on that role as a black woman gave her that.
And then what about the fallout? Do you think that it was unfair? Do you think that it was displaced?
No, I definitely think that she did mislead people, and for that she was wrong. However, the fact that, you know, she was the president of the NAACP, which means that she had been doing a good job in her previous roles and made such an impression on that population that they thought that it would be a good idea for her to have that role, which I thought was great, because there are so many people that say we have so many issues in the black community, you know, but they're not doing anything. And here's this white woman who said, well, you know what, I want to do something. I want to help the cause. And also the NAACP was co-founded by, you know, Caucasians. So I just think that the issue was that she lied about her cultural background.
I don't know if I really look at it like it's a lie or misleading, only because it's all about what you identify with. So let's say the first 13 years of her life, she didn't get along with her mother and father, being as though they were two Caucasians. Let's just say she felt misplaced in the home. So at that point, she decided that she felt as though she could relate more with African Americans. So therefore, it's like she finally found herself at the age of 13, 14, whenever she decided to, you know, go on and change the texture of her hair and different things like that. So I feel as though if somebody asked her, is your father African American? If it's a man who at that point she looked up to as a father, at that point that's who her father is. It's a lot of people who raise children and things like that out on the street, and these particular people raise them from whatever age, that's at the point that they feel as though they then have a family. So if at that point she felt as though this man was her father and this is what she identified with, I think at that point in her heart and in her mind, she was a black woman.
Yeah, but what about the fact that she's wearing, you know, darker makeup to appear, you know, as if she's a black woman? Like, to me, that seems like she's putting on some sort of minstrel show. Like, you knew that your regular complexion wouldn't pass, so you went above and beyond to the Macy's counter to color yourself down. And to me, that seems like you knew the truth and you were hiding it, down to, you know, coloring your feet.
I mean, people tan all the time, and some people take it a bit too far when they tan. A lot of people end up being orange. But And let's say when she decided to tan, she just didn't get as dark as she would have liked to look. It's the same thing when people go to MAC counter and they buy something 10 shades lighter than what they really are, and their face look this color, their neck looks like it's this color. So I feel as though at that point she may not have liked the shade that she was. It's a lot of African Americans, it's a lot of Caucasians, it's a lot of Europeans who just don't like the shape that they are. So I just feel like it wasn't necessarily hiding, it was just more so she's more comfortable looking this way or that way. And that goes for anybody who wears makeup. I just look at it like that.
So then what about the flip side? What about when you have somebody that lightens their skin, like a Sammy Sosa or like a Michael Jackson, somebody that's trying to do the opposite, go from black to white? Do you still feel that same way that, all right, well, they're embracing the white culture or the Irish culture or the Scottish culture? Do you still feel the same way that if it's in reverse, people are just trying to gravitate towards a culture, or are they trying to shed their own culture that they're ashamed of?
I would say more so they just identify with one culture more than the next. I don't blame Sammy Sosa or Michael Jackson for doing whatever it is that, they decided to do to their skin. However, it's all about being comfortable in your skin. To me, something like a Michael Jackson, he wasn't comfortable in his skin. He did so many things that it just made him appear like he was completely unhappy or completely sad. To me, Rachel wasn't like that at all. She seemed like she was vibrant. She was, completely flourishing in the skin that she was in. Whereas, like a Sammy Sosa, he did what he did to his skin, and then he continues to hide. Like somebody come up to him with a camera, he hides, he ducks, he puts on baseball caps. So it's like, is it that you're ashamed of who you are, so therefore you attempt to do something else for cameras or for people walking down the street, or is it that you truly, honestly just don't want to be what you have become? So at that point, I feel like if they were to present themselves differently than what they did after changing the tone of their skin, then I would completely be all for it. But they don't even look like they're happy in their skin once they changed it.
I think that it's a sense of shame. I think that they are ashamed of who they are. You know, when you grow up, a lot of times, if your parents are parenting you well, they try to teach you to love yourself and be comfortable with who you are. To me, that shows that you are uncomfortable with who you are, so much so that you're trying to change it. Overseas, there are skin bleaching creams that make billions of dollars a year because people want to change the color of their skin. And to me, it just seems like that's just a lot of people who are trying to Europeanize themselves and look a different way because they are ashamed of who they are. I was watching a hair commercial, and it was about like keratin, and it was some kind of shampoo. And at the end of the commercial, the woman said, "'Cause straight hair is beautiful hair." And to me, I'm just like, so then my curly hair is not beautiful. That's what you're telling me. My braids are not beautiful. That's what I got from that. So I just think that, if you're not comfortable with the skin that you're in, there's an issue that's deeper than, what we think is going on, than what we see on the surface.
Okay, so then what do we do as a society? Because this isn't the first time. This certainly isn't going to be the last time. So should we open up as a society like we did for Caitlyn Jenner, and accept this shedding of one culture and embracing of the other, or is it something like, well, you know, you were born a duck, you're a duck, you can't be a lion?
Bruce, I don't have time for the foolishness. Now, if he wasn't a Jenner, nobody would care. If he was just James who worked at Dunkin' Donuts and decided to be Jeremy, wouldn't nobody care. So I feel like he's making a mockery of what people really struggle with on a day-to-day basis. I feel like any of the Kardashians and any of the Jenners, I feel like they create this facade of like we're perfect and everything we do turns into like a whole circus. And I feel like this is just another act in a circus.
Years ago, the United States used to be considered a melting pot. And that didn't really represent who we were, because we really weren't, you know, bringing in each culture and, you know, really working together. But I think that now at this point we're seeing that because of, you know, the transgender population, and now with this whole, you know, NAACP thing, like, so now it's opening up the doors for more discussion on people being who they really are and who they want to be, whether they want to be a different race or a different nationality, or if they want to be a man or a woman. I feel like, you know, we're really starting to embrace that as a culture and a society, and this is really what a melting pot of culture would look like, and I think that that's what we're seeing in America now.
Okay, so then let me throw this out there. Are black people too forgiving?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How so?
I just think that when things happen within the black, you know, community, or when black people are wronged by others in society, I just think we're so quick to say, oh, well, I forgive, and everything's, you know, under the rug. But it's not, because we're still going to have to continue to fight for various issues, because if we didn't, we would not have had, you know, the unfortunate events in South Carolina. And that just continues to show that we still have a long ways to go with us as a people and our role here in America.
Yeah, I definitely think that we say we forgive once the issue happens, and then something else arises, and then we start to pick at old wounds after that. If it's an issue and it's on the table, we need to address it. We need to go ahead and deal with it, so that therefore it doesn't become a scab or an open wound that was just overlooked. We definitely forgive way too fast, and it's a lot of things that need to be addressed before they can actually be fixed. So until people can really acknowledge that these are issues, we're going to be on this merry-go-round.
And final question: if Bruce or Caitlyn Jenner, if he would have did a Rachel, and if Bruce turned into Shanae Jenner, would you guys accept it more because now he's a black woman?
No, I still feel like regardless of what the Jenners or the Kardashians do, it's always a circus. It's always a underscoring motive to what they're doing. Because magically he has this show coming out now, and it's supposed to be shopping with Jenners. It's foolishness. Like, it's always something. So I feel like they're using that platform to create all of these other things all over again. It's sad.
Yeah, I would just think that it would just be more of a mess than what it already is. And I mean, but it's okay because reality TV loves it, and I'm sure he's going to make millions of dollars off of this new show and whatever other ads that he'll or she will end up doing. But I wouldn't support it. So.